The reality is, early retirees know one massive secret that you don't know. Actually, some retirees don't know the secret either, and that is why their retirement actually kind of sucks. It's either you know the secret, so you apply it and you get to retirement early, or you don't know it and you completely miss out. No BS, no games, you either get it or you don't, and I'll give you that secret today and how to apply it. What you know about retirement is a lie, and this channel right here is about the truth about retirement and financial freedom, so make sure you subscribe if you want the truth and you don't want to be lied to, because that's exactly what they want. They want to keep you locked into that lie forever. All right, so the best way to illustrate this secret is to basically kind of give you an example. So we'll basically take couple number 1 over here and couple number 2 over here. Now they're the same age, they had the same amount of money, they're in the same situation. Everything is exactly the same, guys. So there's no difference right here between the two. Everything is exactly the same, and both couples are looking to retire next year. So no difference, exactly the same thing. But when they look out that 1 year, one couple is sad and the other couple is extremely excited. And the difference between the two is the secret that we're going to talk about today. So let's start right over here with couple number 1 and the reason why they're sad and exactly what's kind of going on there. Because remember, it's exactly the same as the other couple over here, but yet they feel the exact opposite. So some things to kind of understand about this couple over here is that when they sit down and they look at retirement, they want to kind of basically maintain the same lifestyle. They want the same house, the same cars. You know, they'll kind of want to do a lot of the same things that they're currently doing. They kind of want to keep everything exactly the same. You know, they got the mortgage, they got the 2 car payments, they have all the normal trappings of a normal everyday life, and they don't want to change those things. They want to ride that into retirement, but the problem is both couples only have right around $1 million in retirement. And when they sit down and they do the math, and when they're looking out 1 year away and they do that math, they realize they need closer to, $2.5 or $3 million in order for them to actually be able to retire using the 4% rule. So even though they have a decent nest egg, when they put the math to it, which is what I always encourage you guys to do, they realize they are a long way from actually getting to where they need to be, and now they're sad. They're kind of depressed because they got at least a decade. Even though they got a nice nest egg to start with, they know if you actually do the math, they can't retire early. They have at least another decade of work, maybe even longer, depending upon what happens with the market and everything else. And so they're basically kind of trapped. Does that actually sound familiar to any of you guys out there if you've actually sat down and done the actual math? Even if, $1 million doesn't quite get you there, maybe you don't need 3 million. Is it $1.5 million? Is it $2 million? Where does that number lie in order for you to continue your lifestyle into retirement and have it last you 30 years, maybe even 40 years, especially depending upon how early you retire? That's the kind of math you've got to do. And couple number 1 figured out that they are a lot longer away than they thought. Now contrast that with couple number 2, and they are excited. And the reason why they're excited is because they know the secret that couple number 1 does not know. And that secret is the normal or traditional retirement is a complete lie. And the actual intent of it is to keep you working well into your late 60s, maybe even early 70s, maybe even forever. Basically, keeping you in the same situation as couple number 1. But when you look at early retirees or people who can retire early if they choose to, they recognize the secret right there, and they understand that they have to do something completely different. That's probably blacklisted. It definitely is by society in order for themselves to get there. Basically take the blacklisted alternate path to retirement. And that is exactly what couple number 2 realized, is that if they broke away from what was traditionally seen as retirement and took this alternate path, they were actually already there and able to do it. And even think about a lot or most of the retirees that you know right now that have already retired. Are they actually living what you would consider and what I would consider a dream retirement? Almost everybody that I've talked to about retirement says they're going to do all this travel in retirement, but the reality is the vast majority of people that I know that are retired are actually spend more time watching TV than they do actually traveling, because traveling's expensive. They have an expensive house. They have a mortgage. It's hard to pay rent in 2 different places at the same time. You got your mortgage over here, your big expensive house over here. Now you go to, Europe for a month, we'll say. Now you got to pay for a hotel or an Airbnb or rent a place for a month over there. And now you just don't have the money in order to do that. But first, let's look at this chart right here and look at those numbers, guys. The numbers are ugly for all generations if you take the traditional route. But it's actually plenty of money for those that choose to take the alternative route, or basically go down the blacklisted route and figure out the alternate way of doing this. Car expenses eat up more than $1,000 a month, especially if you got 2 vehicles with 2 car payments, with the average car payment being well over $600 a piece now. That right there more than sucks up more than $1,000 can you do with just one car. Or maybe move to a place where you don't need a car at all. Do you really need that big house? I mean, I understand you want your grandkids to come over and have a place to stay, but let's be honest, do you want to delay your retirement potentially forever just so they can have a place to stay for a few weeks out of the year? And honestly, kids love tents. You could pitch a fort right out there in your living room because you don't have a bedroom for them. And by the time they're old enough to care and not want to be in that tent anymore, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, but they probably don't want to be hanging out with their grandparents either all that much. So you basically have a bedroom there for a time when they actually like you, when they want to be around you, where they don't care. They sleep anywhere. They sleep on the couch. They sleep in a closet. They don't care. They just want to hang out with the grandparents. And then by the time they're old enough to want a room and to actually care, they don't want to hang out with you anymore. Sorry, you guys are here for the truth, and that's the truth in most cases. Use the equity you do have in your home to instead downsize and pay cash for a place in a great walkable city to where you can eliminate those 2 expenses altogether. Just eliminating those 2 expenses, do the math and tell me how much that changes the math and how much money you need in retirement whenever that time comes. It makes a massive difference, but there's even more to it than that. For those that really want to take advantage and really live a rich retirement, take a look, or at least be willing to explore, living in a different country altogether. Now, I know that seems odd, especially for a lot of US folks, but the US ranks like 36th in healthcare, and in terms of livability and everything else, there are far more countries that have better healthcare, better quality of life, better everything, and oh, by the way, they're a lot cheaper than the US, so you don't have to go to all these crazy, third world countries anymore in order to get nice, cheap living. I know that's kind of what's pitched out there and a lot in that community, but you don't have to do that. There's a lot of great first world cities that are a lot better that you could move to and live on a lot less money. Now, do you have to do that? No, you don't. You can just downsize your house completely to where you got something paid off in cash and then move to a place where you don't need a vehicle, and that significantly changes the math and can significantly change your retirement. Boy, you want to live like a king or have a lot of money in retirement and have your money really go far? Boy, that is a way to supercharge it right there. And that's just a start. There's so many other things you can do to get there. It may seem awkward, it may seem uncomfortable, it may even be repulsive to you, but it may make the difference between you being couple number 1 or couple number 2. What are you going to choose, because you can't have both? The good news is this channel is about alternative routes to retirement. They want you to work forever and be stuck in the mess. I want you to be free from the mess forever. It may be blacklisted by society, but it's the truth, and you're gonna get it right here, so make sure you're subscribed. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.